আমি বাংলা বুঝতে পারি একটু একটু. Nobody has found the role challenging enough to play. I'm surprised. 7 years industry has taken for someone to come and make a film on this journey. I'm waiting. Let's see when the wait gets over.
নমস্কার, সংবাদ প্রতিদিন .in আপনাদের স্বাগত। আমাদের সঙ্গে এই মুহূর্তে যিনি আছেন তিনি আমাদের দেশের প্যারা অলিম্পিক্সের কিংবদন্তি বলা যায় তাকে। রিও অলিম্পিক্সে উনি রূপো জিতেছিলেন। কিংবদন্তি Deepa Malik. A very warm welcome to our interview session with us. And first of all, आप बोल रहे थे अभी मतलब you started your life in Calcutta, your childhood. You spent a childhood in Calcutta.
I can say started my life in Kolkata because 11वीं 12वीं 11th and 12th मेरा कोलकाता में हुआ है. पहला टर्म सॉल्ट लेक केंद्रीय विद्यालय में हुआ. फिर पिताजी को घर हेस्टिंग्स में मिला तो केंद्रीय विद्यालय फोर्ट विलियम में मैं पढ़ी हूँ. और वो पहली बार था कि एक लड़की स्कूल कैप्टन बनी थी और वो भी ह्यूमैनिटीज़ के स्ट्रीम से स्कूल कैप्टन बनी थी. तो बहुत यादें हैं क्योंकि 11th-12th आपका सीनियर हाई स्कूल होता है. उसमें आप को थोड़ा थोड़ा एडल्टहुड की तरफ आप जाते हैं. तो मुझे मेरी पहली लूना मिली थी. मैं इंडिपेंडेंटली 2 व्हीलर चलाने लगी थी. मैं पहली बार पिक्चर देखने अकेले जा सकती थी और मेरा पहला लाइव रॉक बैंड शो मैंने देखा था सेंट जेवियर्स कॉलेज के फेस्ट में. सो बहुत कुछ पहला यहाँ पर हुआ है. तो बहुत यादें हैं.
So this time when you came to Calcutta for this event, so it must be a nostalgic journey for you.
Absolutely nostalgic moment, and every time I come to Kolkata, it gives me those very beautiful memories of my walking days. Because I used to walk then, and I remember enjoying all the army dancing parties at the DSOI in Fort William. So yes, very beautiful memories of Kolkata. Calcutta actually. वो न्यू मार्केट में शॉपिंग करने जाना, वो पुचके और झालमुरी खाना, एंड इंग्लिश मूवीज़ देखने की परमिशन मिल गई थी हमें. तो हम यस और वहाँ से बाहर निकलते ही फिर अपने फेमस एग रोल्स एक्चुअली वो मैं मिस कर रही हूँ. मैंने वो नहीं खाए अभी.
निज़ाम
नहीं, वो जो रेडी पे ही मिलते थे तो चाइनीज एग रोल्स विद अ ग्रीन सॉस जो टिपिकल यहाँ की है और कहीं नहीं मिलती. यस.
So, any favorite Bengali dish you like? I mean,
Bhetki
paturi?
Yeah.
Fry, which one? Paturi.
Yes.
Okay.
That I really love.
Okay.
That I love. And of course, puchka to hai.
Hey.
সন্দেশ খুব ভালো লাগছে. আমি বাংলা বুঝতে পারি একটু একটু.
So ma'am, obviously since you took over as the president of Paralympic Federation of our country, where we have won numerous goals in Tokyo.
Yes.
So what are the changes that you brought in?
The changes I could bring in was definitely direct communication with the athletes and understanding their needs.
Okay.
There was a very strong communication, and pandemic the silver lining was that we connected a lot through the digital platform. Because that is all that was happening. We had a lot of webinars and we utilized that time for education.
Okay.
And we brought in technology. We, thanks to the government's Target Olympic Podium scheme and other fundings that came forward, we were able to convince certain CSRs also that these are the basic requirements. And I think when an athlete who had already won a medal for the country said it, there was an element of truth and faith which I could generate. So if Deepa is saying it, that means this is not something just to get money, but this is actual requirement of the para athletes. And we introduced sports science.
Okay.
The nutrition, the correct exercises, the correct prosthetics, and we reached out their proteins and the correct equipment to their residences.
Right.
So if it was a para powerlifter, we got them the world standard para powerlifting kit. If it was Sumit Antil, he got 3 different prosthetics. Because his walking leg is different, his gymming leg is different, and the lightweight throwing leg is different. so he could get that. If we talk about Bhavina Patel,
Bhavina Patel, yes.
she got a international standard table in her residence with a robot to practice with, and she says her sport has improved tremendously when she got the robot. So huge support from Sports Authority of India came in, and like I said, the communication between the ministry, the funding agents, the Target Olympic Podium scheme, the athletes, the federation and the Sports Authority, that was so time bound. But there's no point in sending something delayed way. Because if you have to practice on a leg, you need it at a certain time. If you have to practice with a robot, you need it well ahead of time. Not those last minute fundings and reaching out. So everything fell in place, and we could see the results coming in. And so many new sport. We may not have won a medal, but imagine a Prachi goes in canoeing and ends up in as a finalist among whole lot of European, American and African and Eurasian countries where canoeing and all is very readily available, and for a girl to just go there and then emerge in as a finalist, and later on went on to win the Asian Championship, and she's doing very well.
Do you think, ma'am, that scenario is changing in our country? I mean, the perspective of the general public towards the Paralympic sports, and your medal obviously is helping out in that cause.
I'm very happy that when someone says that Rio was at the actual turning point. However, Devendra Jhajaria ji had already won, and Murlikant Petkar had won a medal in as early as 72, and then 2004 he won a gold. Devendra won a gold, and but the real recognition came in Rio Paralympics in 2016, and there were three reasons to that. One, our country was hungry for medals, and Olympics could make two. And suddenly here we get 2 gold medals with a new record, and then the first female medal, and then another medal. So we doubled the score.
Right.
And by then the policies had become inclusive. Honorable Prime Minister Sir was very, very focused. Modi ji, he was talking about the achievements of para sportsperson in his Man Ki Baat, in his speeches, in his addresses. He tweeted. He was one of the first person to tweet about the achievement. And the moment you have the governance and the highest person in the governance talk about the achievement, the country is bound to take note.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And ma'am, tell us about your own challenge. I mean, being a Paralympian sports person in our country, if I take a few years back,
yes,
the scenario was completely different from now.
It was definitely different. Nobody knew what assistive aids we needed. Nobody knew the kind of wheelchair was required. They didn't even ever think of a wheelchair accessible bathroom at the training grounds. The coaches had no theory of combining our training with biomechanics, or to be in touch with a physiotherapist, because I was a spinal cord injury person, and continuously only training was not something. I have to deal with other complications like locking of the bladder, leaking of the stool in my diaper due to lack of bladder and bowel control, spasms in my body, fatigue and recovery is way slower. When you are tired, and the muscles get into spasms.
Right.
So, and there's only, you can't do the regular movements because there's only a set of muscles which are working in your body. If I am practicing with my shoulder, how do I practice when my torso does not have a balance? So there was so many challenges. This is just one part of it. And then the other aspect was the wheelchair accessible accommodation, wheelchair accessible transportation from place of stay to the stadium. Public transport not readily available. And nobody was ready to fund para sports because they were never a thing which was heard of.
This is not cricket or football.
Even when the Olympic sports were struggling, then you can there was no dialogue around para sports.
Right.
So it was a difficult time, definitely. But here we are. It's the story of not giving up. And more than winning medals, I think I'm more happy when I look back. And that is something Honorable Prime Minister Sir also said to me when I got my Padma Shri. And he says, Deepa, you have won major medals for country, but I'm more happy that your contribution has been more towards policy making. Because unless it comes top to bottom,
Yes.
it's difficult to start working at the grassroots. So first the policies have to be in place, then the intention comes in place, and then execution comes in place.
Yes. And now, do you feel that you have completed your journey? I mean, the journey what you started, what the
No. There are miles to go before I sleep, and there are miles to go
But you
before
have
I
success
sleep.
now.
Success is not the end point. Success, I believe, is the beginning. Like how you heard a lot of athletes say that today they have a voice because they're successful. People look up to them as role models. And now is the time where we can give back to the world of sports.
Okay.
Now is the time that we can raise issues, we can fill in the gap, we can represent a weaker section of athletes who probably in their region, because now I'm aggressively working on policies in different states, different areas. We are talking about accessibility in the rural areas. So now is the real work has begun now.
Okay. So it will continue.
Yes.
And obviously, ma'am, as the next Olympics is coming, so how many medals you're expecting? People are saying that 25 to 30 medals India can expect from that, from Paris.
Paralympics?
Yes,
Definitely.
Paris.
Definitely. If all goes well and there are no pandemic breaks and we continue to get the kind of support we are getting and the budget goes up for para sports and more CSR and sponsorship opportunities come to Paralympic Committee of India, we are definitely going to make more medals.
And how did this surge happen? Sudden rise in
See, the
Paralympics
talent,
India being so good.
The
Talent was there, definitely.
talent just needed the right direction and the right support. There is so many talents even now which are rearing to go, but there is a very crucial process of medical classification. Unless you get medically classified into a particular category, you do not get eligibility to play for a country. And medical classification is something that happens internationally by the international classifiers. We do not have a single established classifier in our country at the moment. So I'm also focusing a lot on the educational programs,
Okay.
train the trainer programs. The speed of classification has become pretty slow because the demand for para sports has risen not just in India but all over the globe. And IPC is also struggling with the demand, because the demand is so high now and the supply has gone a little slow because there's so many athletes they want to get medically classified and they have to distribute slots. So if I get all the slots that I need, I can probably give you more than 30 medals in the forthcoming Paralympics.
It's great to
But
hear.
that is the challenge.
That is it,
yes.
But it's great to hear that India
Yes.
can win out 30 medals. That's not easy, obviously.
Yes.
And ma'am, talk about your biopic. I mean, we heard that your biopic is coming. So, is it true?
Even I heard that my biopic is coming, but I'm very sad, and this is something which I very openly say, that is there not enough story, content, struggle, a journey of a mother whose daughter is also hemiplegic and paralyzed on the left side of the body, and this is a mother-daughter duo who are playing for the country together, and has changed the face of the entire para sports in the country. And I was very disturbed and upset to learn that there was nobody who wanted to play my role, because for 7 years my rights are with Excel Entertainment, one of the most competent entertainment houses. The prime years of my glory have gone by, though I know the history that I have created by becoming the first ever woman to win a medal in Para Asian Games in athletics, in the World Championship and the Paralympics. One of the only female athlete to create 3 consecutive Asian Games medal with 3 consecutive new Asian records. And not just that, I have been a biker, a swimmer, a car rallist. There is so much of style, there is so much of drama, there is so much of family emotions, there is so much of struggle of a woman and a mother, a disabled mother raising a disabled daughter.
Right.
And yet, nobody has found the role challenging enough to play. I'm surprised. 7 years industry has taken for someone to come and make a film on this journey. I'm waiting. Let's see when the wait gets over.
So do you think that actual societal changes happen? Because it's completely an inspirational story. You go to any Bollywood directors or
That is
film
something
directors,
I probably throw the challenge for the industry to answer.
industry answer. Okay, that's great. It's great to hear. Yeah, they should do, right. I mean,
Yes.
it's an inspirational story anyhow.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
But let's see who has the courage to come forward and make it.
থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাম। ক্যামেরায় শুভ্ররূপ বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়ের সঙ্গে রাজস্বী অঙ্গোপাধ্যায়, সংবাদ প্রতিদিন .in।